I love engineering. I've always wanted to be an engineer. I know. But today we have somebody super, super special that we're talking to around this hot topic. Think about those amazing buildings you walk into, those incredible structures that just has this amazing roof, these skylights, the air pouring in, the leaves and the trees that you can see through it, the beautiful scenery, and all of that. All of those structures are designed by engineers. And today I have the honor and opportunity to speak to Andrew Spottiswoode, and he is from Leaf Structures, and he's going to talk us a little bit through some of their projects. They recently won an award for Menlyn Main Atrium. We'll talk about that as well. But he's going to talk us a little bit through around this incredible process and what value they bring to architects and to people in the built environment industry. We're going to touch a little bit on some of their other initiatives, but this is a company that I adore for what they stand for the opportunities they see in Africa, for the opportunities they see in people, and the excellent work that they deliver. So welcome, Andrew. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Marlene. Lovely to be here from my home office. Nice to see you again.
Welcome to COVID offices. Andrew, so tell us a little bit about Leaf. So how's it put together? What type of projects do you do?
Yeah, so Leaf Structures, so we're a locally owned design build company. We focus on clad structures. So canopies, skylights, facades, atriums, anything where we can integrate some steelwork and some cladding. And normally transparent cladding. As you said, a lot of on the skylight side of things, a lot of buildings, the building is made for the same reason why it was made hundreds and thousands of years ago, is to like keep people warm, dry, let in some natural light, balance water. And I think so what we do now is the exact same. So what we try to do in our business is to create spaces that people want to be in, and also to create spaces that celebrate the environment that you live in. So don't build a box and then have artificial lighting and then have air coming in and it's like we've got all of this great stuff outside. How do we balance it, and how do we do that in a way that A, looks great, B, is cost effective, C, can be built, so that's the gist of what we do. So Leaf stands for lightweight engineered architectural features.
Love that.
As an engineer, so I'm a structural engineer, but I guess a lot of the job of a structural engineer is to make sure that you don't see the structure, because the structure is holding up the cladding. The cladding is actually the most important thing. So it's how do you balance understanding the different cladding materials, and how do you support it in a way that highlights the advantage of that cladding material. That's the gist of what we do every day, is we figure out how to come up with solutions that let in the right balance of heat and light, that's functional, and obviously that's on the design side. Then on the design build, it's how do we build these things in a safe way, in a way that is cost effective, and a way that the client gets what they want on site for the right price, and is really happy with the end product afterwards. That's, I guess, in a nutshell what we try to do.
That's so critical, is the cost effectiveness and obviously the delivery of the product as well. I think that you touched on two of the most important things in that space. Tell me a little bit around, we spoke of projects and award-winning projects. I know that you've won a couple. So talk us a little bit about some of your most prestigious projects that you've done.
Well, we've done, recently, as you mentioned, was the Menlyn Main project. And that was a really positive project to be involved in from the beginning. I mean, the architect Bookman there was really great at, showing what they wanted as a design intent, but not being overly prescriptive, saying we want to create a space that does this, and then come to us and say, how would you recommend implementing these things? This is what's important to us. This is how it ties into overall building. Give us your thoughts. So there was a lot of back and forth in terms of different design options, the pros and cons, the costing, how you build it, what are the lead times. So that was I thought that was a great collaboration also with the QS, saying this is how much money we've got. When you're building these things, your pricing can be here to here. So how do you come up with something that matches the design and the pricing? And I think that was, there's everyone involved in projects brings benefits and brings advantages and brings core processes that you don't have, and to create an environment where different people can get together and put add their skill set in a way that's constructive. I think if you've got that mixed on and it's in a creative space, you can really come up with some really useful things. And I think so with the Men and Main one, the main thing was very lightweight, a lot of light, not a skylight that says, look at me, a skylight that says you actually don't notice me. And it's a different thing. If I look about, you mentioned other projects. So we were also involved in the Mall of Africa project, which was a very, complicated freeform ETFE skylight, which was also really nice. And was, that was another award-winning project, but that one was a very different design. It was, it was a complex thing where you want to actually look at the structure and look at all these lines and look at, whereas on Men and Main, it was, simple, big, but simplicity is hard. So, the reality is we were very happy when it looked simple, because there's, in order to get lightweight projects, you got to be very detailed in how you engineer it, how you do the connections, how you make sure you look at movements. Because you've got these big pieces of glass. It's made up of like 3.2 by 2.2 meter big piece of glass. So each piece of glass weighs 350 kilograms. So when you're installing this, it's the guys at site were busy saying, which idiot came up with this? But it's one of the ones when we get going, the guys on site did a really great job of embracing the challenge and using the skill sets from other projects to build it in a very, so once they got going, they were doing 16 pieces of glass in a day. That's impressive. So, and these are all, it's a fully local team which are working very safely, very nicely. So it's really, it's a great thing seeing projects go from the beginning all the way through the implementation, seeing the pride which different people have involved in it, and seeing that, and and if you have everyone in the chain understanding the bigger picture and having a sense of pride in what they do, then you get good projects. And it's so at the end of the day, when I look at it, I'm very proud of what I see, and but I'm not surprised, because if I look at the team and I look at the process, it's the right steps that were followed. And I think what in terms of what we do as a company, it's how do we replicate that on other projects where you can see if the wrong steps are taken. Often it's a pain at the end, and there's people fighting and so it's identifying those steps that make award-winning projects and trying to encourage other people to do similar things.
But you've done very sexy, colorful things as well. So I know that at Fourways Mall, you've done the colored glass, which it is very popular and obviously very nice. So you've done lots of different types of work. DSTV, you did the canopy, if I'm correct, at the DSTV building.
Yeah, we did that skylight with the ETF. Yes, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So do you have a favorite product that you like to work with? So is it glass or is it more, do you have one?
No, I actually don't. And I think the reason why I don't is because I think the favorite part of the design for me isn't really a product. I think it's interactions, and I think it's exciting seeing people passionate about what they do, like what we spoke about earlier, that, seeing people passionate about what they're doing, seeing the different what they bring to a project. I think because sometimes if you come into a meeting with your head full of what you want and not listening, I think then you often get clouded out. And of a project is such a critical time, because you set the sort of trajectory of a project, and it's so hard to then undo that in your head. And I think so if the kind of favorite, not product but part, is sort of the initial brainstorming sessions where you have everyone and it's like, I don't know if this project's going to happen, I'm not sure what the budget is, and we got a little hand sketch that maybe is vague, but then you can really lay down the principles. And then if you start off in the right way, it makes things easier the whole time. You kind of adding onto it and you're improving, as opposed to if you start off the wrong way. So it's not really a specific product, but it's a process. So I really like that process moving forward, because the reality is there's a lot of good products, and whether it's glass or ETFE or cable structures or steel or colored glass, or there's a lot of things you can do. But I think all of that is secondary to understanding what the client wants, how to do that, and then you can have fun playing and picking and choosing. But that's step 2. I like step 1 more.
We were talking earlier about collaboration, but you're also very passionate about plowing back locally, and local is very big at the moment. So talk us a little bit through around what you have, the initiatives you're involved with, and what you see as opportunities locally.
Yeah, and there's a ton of opportunities local. I mean, I think a thing that always inspires me is just looking at young faces and just seeing the sort of optimism and seeing the sense of potential that people have. And I think it's, if I look at most people, their potential's here and they're operating in this level. So I really love seeing it. So we try to get involved at schools. We've been working with SIA and SICE on a BEN, which is a Built Environment Network initiative. And the idea of that is to, bring the built environment together and then try to bring that to the schools and to let school kids know what is the built environment, what do engineers do, what do architects do, what do construction managers do, what do quantity surveyors do, and then if just to plant seeds. So then if you're in grade 10 and you're like, I don't know what I want to do in this whole math and science, seems like hard work. Then it's like, okay, well, if I realize I kind of want to, I see what they do and it's kind of nice, then at least you've got some sort of goal, and then you can start focusing and moving towards that goal. So and that's to me that really excites me, because it's as I said, there's so much potential, and one of those students sitting in that class can go out and change the world, literally.
Yeah.
I think that's a great thing, and so part of what we try to do as a company is it's not good enough to, at the end of the day, look back and say, okay, great, we built some nice structures, nice, good. The reality is which people have you empowered in that process? What have you learned as an individual, and the people in your company, and how do you continue to grow individuals' capabilities? And I think it's not, and it doesn't just happen. It needs to be a planned out thing where you are focusing on skills, on making sure the installers are learning and growing and have got a career path, how people within your organization have got a career path. And even if that career path doesn't involve you, even if that means they got to go somewhere else. We had one of our great engineers last year. She was working for us for a while, and then she wanted to go overseas to the UK. So so she's working for Novum, or our sister company there. And to me, that was still a very successful thing, because she's not helping us right now here, but she's growing where she wants to be growing, and she's doing great things. So I think that's very important, is to make sure people are growing and make sure that you can empower people along the way. And that's what we really try to do. And you've got to run your business. It is a business that you've got to make money, and if you don't, then you can't do any of that. But you can do it in a way that is more empowering locally. Yeah.
I think that's such an important thing that you just touched on, is that empowering people to go out into the world and better the world. And we have the opportunity to do that and use that and maximize that. But the other thing that you spoke about earlier, and that I loved that you said, was diversity and inclusion. And that's also very big on your agenda, is diversity and inclusion. And you spoke about seeing it at university, but also for yourselves and for your business and the type of people that you work with. So give us a little bit about your opinion and what you think about the diversity and inclusion.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think the predominantly the sort of engineering in South Africa and maybe also overseas has normally been a pretty narrow range of the spectrum in terms of gender and in terms of race. And I think it's been wonderful to see locally how that there's more engineers, project managers, QSs who are more representative gender and race wise. And I think it's lovely to see. So I mean, if I talk about my business partner, Tim, because so she's a detailer. So she sort of started detailing. She detailed for our company for a couple of years, but she's a great business mind, and she's very sociable, and she's got all these other skill sets that so I don't want to in the office just detailing. So her and I are the two local directors who are involved with the day-to-day running, and she brings such wonderful perspective in terms of how we should do projects, how we should go about hiring staff, so it's a very positive feedback. Is that, and I think you got to put those situations. You've got to. So you've got to put the right people in the right places, and then it's about getting the right people on your bus. That's kind of one way of looking at it. And it's like, if you got the right people, then you're going to be heading in the right way. And I think it's then you don't necessarily have to be thinking this is my company and how am I going to run this thing. It's thinking about, okay, I've got these great people and we've got a direction where we want to go, but we all kind of assist in going that way. And I think that's been, so if I just look at Tembakazi as an example, I think she's really done a really great job of guiding the company and moving it forward. And I think that's really important, because your skill sets are limited to what you know and the experiences that you have. And, you know, that's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But it is limiting, and I think the more different perspectives you have, the better you can move where you want to go.
Because you can't walk a mile in someone else's shoes. Hey.
No. Even you can think you're going to do it, but you actually can't. I don't know. This is maybe a digress. My wife had this. She laughed a while ago when we first started dating. I don't know what I did wrong, but you know I do nothing wrong. And then so the next day I get out of bed and I'm like, you know, I've thought about it. I put myself in your shoes, and if I were you, I wouldn't be cross with me.
How did that go down? That sounds, no, I could just imagine.
Not well. Even Christiane's dad was like, that was bad. You know.
And she still married you. Well, you must have a ton of other attributes.
I know.
Listen, it was wonderful talking to you. Do you have any closing words for us? And where can people contact you? We'll put up the contact details as well.
Yeah.
But
I mean, closing words is, you know, I just want to encourage people to get out there and do what they're passionate about and be willing to accept no lots of the time, but make sure that you keep on moving forward. And I think it's, you know, I think everyone's got potentially what they can do. I think it's important that they take risks. They start companies. They do things that makes them feel uncomfortable. But it's really important that we have people using their skill set, growing, doing what they love doing. And I think that you have enough people doing that, you can make a real positive impact. And if anyone is interested in facades, design, build, sort of our kind of stuff, please contact us, because we'd love to either try, you know, help you guys with what we do or network you with other people.
And that's it. Mic drop.
That's done.
Let's close the door on this conversation. Thanks so much, Andrew. It was lovely chatting to you. And yeah, contact Andrew. The details are included here. And like you said, he loves a good brainstorm. So give the man a shout and let's do some brainstorm. And what's awesome about them is they bring tons of experience, incredible technical knowledge, the whole design build, and really, really cool perspective and diversity. So Andrew, it's been lovely having you, and all the best to you guys. Thanks for joining.
All the best. Thank you. Thanks much. I hope it's a great year.
Cheers. Bye. Thank you.